one thing I would always check upon is your credit. So all you young boys who are listening now, your credit is very important. Your credit is basically, I'd rather be credit rich than cash rich.
I just dropped my app, www.ChisoLifts.com. Online personal training. You got custom meal plans, custom training plans. With the training plans, you got the video showing you how to do all your exercises. You could log in your sets, your reps, the weights you use, and literally every month I changed up your plan. In the description, you got a code BESTU20 at the moment. You can use that to get a 20% discount for life. Episode featuring me and Gabriel talking about business. Hope you like this one.
You know when you're young, you know, you think sometimes you think the world's against you. You don't have much to kind of look forward to, and sometimes we don't come out of our bubble. You know, sometimes you've only just stayed in the ends. You don't know, like, there's a bigger picture out there. And even when I've grown up now, I look at so much of the mistakes I made when I was younger, especially with like my credit, with money, and with women. So even with like you now, what, you're 46? How old are you now? What? What's going on here? You know, right now he's got the old man beard and moustache now. He's not trying to get a trim. How old are you, sir?
Hey, this guy's got jokes, you know. What? You're 2 years my senior.
No, I'm just saying, I didn't know. So
if I'm 46, you're 48.
No, I don't know. Obviously, I'm Nigerian, so my books have been tampered with.
Okay.
So no one knows my age. Now you get them footballers that join the team, yeah.
Hey, man, he started off by trying to send.
No,
wow.
I'm just saying, you know, like you get them
1-0.
footballers, you play for like maybe Nigeria, and this guy's got no hairline. He's saying he's like 18, and you can tell like, right, you were school with my dad and mum.
You see the guy over there, AFCON?
Yep,
they said he was
impossible.
21.
Impossible.
He looked like my dad.
But imagine we could go back to being 21. What would you have changed different to what's going on now with your life? What would you do right now if you could go back to being 21? And I'm talking we're going to talk in regards to education, we're going to talk in regards to finances, and in regards to women. Those three things. What would you change? If you could go back to being between 18 and 21, what would you do different?
21 is when me and my first girl broke up. And I was in uni. I probably wouldn't have gone uni.
You wouldn't have gone uni?
No.
Okay, why is that? Why wouldn't you have gone uni?
I dropped out.
So you actually went uni back then?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wouldn't have gone uni. I'd have probably stuck to my plan, which was just work. Then at the time I was just thinking of other things I needed to do. But you know when your family don't believe in your foresight?
Yeah.
So that's why I stuck with uni.
Yeah.
And it kind of slightly derailed other things. And if I was working, I wouldn't have done certain things I was doing then.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So I'd have probably stuck to what I wanted to do, stayed working. And I reckon if I stayed working, it's weirdly, you know what it is here? When you're not seeing things the way you want, you end up derailing other things.
Okay, yeah.
So I reckon if I'd stayed working, I'd have probably ended up being with my girl a lot longer, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. I'd have probably ended up, maybe even probably still till now, who'd have known?
Yeah.
Because I feel like when you're not seeing the money you want, like I always say to you, I say, Rah, anytime my money's low, I'm not horny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's mad.
Yeah. Like with me, it's just
it's like the two are tied together.
Yeah, the two are tied together. Like I don't want to link no one when I'm not grinding. Like I feel like I just ain't got time for it because you be able to sense my energy is a bit.
So you're saying technically that if you could go back to being 18, 21, you're saying that you would have stuck.
I would have stuck to
stopped working.
Yeah.
You would have stuck to working. You wouldn't have gone to uni because you went to uni later on in life.
Yeah.
And you're saying that ideally, if
I
you
would have
could
gone
go
to
back
uni on my own terms.
On your own terms. So I'm assuming that, was there pressure for you to go to uni?
Oh, my mum, she was education. You know, like typical Nigerian. So like, I remember I told you how I got to uni was, obviously I'm playing basketball.
Yeah.
I've gone to America, tried to get into a prep school. In Philadelphia, prep rules are you need to be 25 on, you need to be 18 up until, so the school started on 25th. I needed to turn 19 on the 25th or after.
Yeah.
That was August. I turned 19 on the 17th. I couldn't get 2 years in prep school. If I had 2 years in prep school, that would have been 2 years of basketball before going into uni. So, because I turned 8 days early, I can only get 1 year of school.
Okay.
But when you only get 1 year of school, you can't, to get enough points, let's say like similar to UCAS, to go to uni, I'd have had to do 2 years work of school in 1 year. And to do 2 years work of school, your free time, which would have been on basketball training and that, you have to go extra classes. So you won't be able to get a basketball scholarship because you can't play on the team. So once they've said that to me, I've come back home, and when my ex is like, yeah, I'm gonna fill out your uni forms for you because your mum keeps on mentioning it, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. So I've literally come back from holiday, and 2 days later I'm in uni.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So I've just kind of just done it as a, okay, seeing as I couldn't get into what I went to.
So you're saying basically that if you could have just maybe worked in a certain field, you'd have worked your way up in whatever career that is you wanted to do. What was your credit like when you was 18, 21? Did you even know what credit was? Did you even know what a credit file was or a credit report was at that time?
No, but at that time it was on point though.
But how do you know it was on point if you didn't know what it was?
You know what it is, like all my direct debits are paid on time.
Okay.
I didn't have as much responsibilities. You get me? Between 18 and 19, all I did that year was work. So I went to uni from 19. So remember, I took a gap year, and I'd already been working from college days. So I got my first job at 16. So I was already used to working. So I didn't mind working. I was used to having my own money in it. So I didn't I already was in those kind of terms. So I think when things started to mash up was after car phone.
Okay.
Yeah. When I got fired from car phone, it was like
a dip from there. So you was kind of like trying to juggle jobs from there. When I was 18 to 21, I think one of the biggest problems that happened to me when growing up was, one of the biggest things that happened to me is there's something they call ACs. And I remember growing up now, I remember being in college, and the big boys, I saw the big boys, they were pulling up in compressors. You don't remember what compressors were back then. They're basically the equivalent of like saying a C class that you've got now. So they were compressors back in the day. And I remember that one of the young boys in the college, we saw him doing floss. He was doing gra jaye. So I saw him with his whip. And these times I was like, right, how'd you get the whip? And he was telling me how. He was saying, all you got to do is give me your bank card, and basically I can get money transferred into your account. So basically it was an AC. So cut long story short, when I was younger, somebody put money into my account. So obviously I didn't know the whole ins and outs of it. I just saw the money in my account, we took the money out, I was doing gra. Only to find out later on now that they're gonna put a marker on my credit file because of that. So that marker stayed on my credit file for a while. So one thing I'll say to you, if I could go back, one thing I would always check upon is your credit. So all you young boys who are listening now, your credit is very important. Your credit is basically, I'd rather be credit rich than cash rich, because when you're credit rich, you open yourself up to a whole lot of investments and money. So for instance, one of my mates called, I always talk about him, he's got about 5 or 6 properties now. And we both grew up selling cars growing up. And I made quite a lot of money when I was younger, and that was dealing cars. And I always say that the only reason why I didn't jump into drugs or jump into fraud is because my role model at the time was selling cars. And that's why I went into that field. So I don't ever try and sit on a moral high ground to say that I wouldn't have sold drugs or done fraud. The only thing is that I was fortunate enough to know how to sell cars. So growing up now, definitely I would sort my credit out. And any of you guys now who are young and any parents watching, try and sort, you can actually add your child onto a credit card or get a credit card and get your child on it. And that way you can boost their credit. Because I would always say that if I could go back, the first thing I would have done is bought a property. Being at the age of 22, 23, I had about 30, 40 grand around me. And I could easily have bought property at that time. But because my credit was so bad, I couldn't get into property. And that's one thing that my friend now has done. And he's probably sitting on about, we're going to bleep his name out, by the way. But he's probably sitting on about, I'd say, 400 or 500 bags right now. That's because of property. So what he's done is been able to buy property and remortgage and do a lot of buy-to-let. So the equity he's sitting on right now is about 300 or 400 grand. And that could have been me if not for my credit. So the first thing I would do if I could go back was sort my credit out. That's the first thing.
Are you interested in improving your credit report and credit score? Maybe you've been declined for credit before, or you're hoping to obtain credit, such as a mortgage, in the near future. Or maybe you have a CCJ or CIFAS and you're not really sure how to get rid of it and what to do next.
Join us on this workshop where we will be giving you the solutions and how to achieve your goals. We'll be taking you through the complete journey and how it impacts you, from county court judgments to notice of correction, Everything is included in this workshop and you should not miss out.
Second thing is become more disciplined when it comes to women. When growing up, I was broke when I was younger. So I got girls here and there, but it wasn't as easy. And I had a mixed race friend called Edward, and we used to go to Trocadero when we was younger. And that was like the playing ground when you was younger. We had Whitgift Centre, we had Debenhams and all of that. We had a little arcade there. And back then it was Daytona. That was the arcade machine. I don't know if you remember Daytona. That was it was a car racing game. That was the game that everyone used to play. So I used to go to Trocadero. And it was then when I realized what, obviously when growing up, you kind of know like what the preference to some women are and what isn't. So when growing up, we'll go Trocadero. And obviously Edward being, you know, mixed race guy looking like genuine with the curly hair. Like, you know, girls would to come up to Edward and move to him. And I didn't understand. So when two girls would come over to us, I'm thinking it's play for play. You know, one for Eddie, one for me.
Yeah.
So they'll come over now. And obviously two of the girls are here and they're talking to Eddie. So obviously I'm thinking, you know, that one wants to talk to me. So obviously man's trying to put in the work now. And I realized that.
And she said, stay calm.
She said, relax there, guy.
Stay calm.
We're here for him. So that's when I realized what's going on. So as growing up now, I never really got girls like that until the age of about 23 when I started making money. So I got girls, but not as, you know, like I got, you know, with the ease, there's an ease to getting girls. Like Edward didn't have to fight for girls. Like there wasn't a conversation, it wasn't a life story or a backstory. You know, like when you go on X Factor, you talk about how your dog died. Like, you know, yeah, like my dog died, you know, he jumped into the pond and then we jumped in, we couldn't save him. So, you know, I'm doing this for Lassie. You know, I'm doing this for Lassie.
You know what's mad, yeah? Me on the opposite end, yeah?
Okay.
Girls always liked me, but I was just shy.
Okay.
No, I was mad shy.
But where did the shyness come from?
Huh?
Where did the shyness come from?
You know what it is? I think, really and truly, you might not even clock it. You might not even clock it now. I'm very, very to myself.
Okay.
Even when we go out, I might be with you lot, then I just go off. But it's like a thing that when there's too much attention on me, I just don't like it.
Yeah, now for me it was the opposite.
Excess,
like,
so like in college days, because remember like me, Yusuf and that went to college, I was already in shape early from young. So you know them days when you're younger now and you've got like little abs and that, like you felt like you were the man in it. So I was already one of the first man who already, I was lean, ripped up, everything like at 16, 17. Yeah. So in college I used to get attention, but I was just shy. I just didn't know how to respond to it. Whereas my other brethren who went to mixed schools, they were used to being around girls all the time. So they were just,
for me,
I was just always like,
for me, I got like, for me, the girls were interested in me, but it was effort and work. Like I had to do the extra. Do you know what I'm saying? But when I started making money at the age of around 24, 5, when I finally started making dough, what happened now is that because I was getting money, I was making money, what happened, I could dress a little bit better. So obviously I had a bit more disposable income. So I wasn't tight because I was stingy. I was tight because I had no money. So when girls wanted to do certain things, I couldn't do it. In fact, you know what? I'm going to start using girls. Someone addressed me before about that, to say women or ladies. Now, some women don't actually like being called girls. I'm actually going to address that now and say, yes, it's actually women or ladies. So when I never used to get women or ladies that much easier. But when I started making dough when I was 24, 5, what happened now is that I started becoming toxic because all the girls that I couldn't get, ladies, because of the ladies I couldn't get before with ease, now I started getting them easier. I started doing gra gra, I started doing abada, I started doing ah. And before I knew it, I turned into this monster that the ladies were before. So because of the way I was treated by certain ladies back then, I now started behaving like them inadvertently. And what happened now is, if I could go back, okay, I would say to a lot of the guys growing up that they're not your enemies, innit? And I always say the amount of toxic things that I've had to unlearn. And I was mad toxic. At 25, 26, any woman who knew me back then, I was a madness. And I would say, in regards to finances, women on holidays are not going anywhere. Because sometimes it's the fear of enjoyment or missing out that makes us want to do things as a young and we waste money. If you've got a little 20 stack somewhere and you're maybe 23, 24, 25, get into property. That's the first thing I would say. Go and buy a yard. Whether it's in Kent, do your research, but go and buy a yard. Because if you've got something that's got equity in it, the property values as it stands, well, obviously we do have a recession and things do crash, but generally speaking, bricks and mortar is probably one of your best investments right about now. That's one thing I say being younger. Women, take your time. Take your time. Use your raincoat. Like,
You know,
that's one thing. Use your raincoat.
You know
Don't
what's
just
mad?
shoot up the club, bro.
You know what's mad here? How you explained at 26.
Yeah.
Remember at 26 is when I was kind of like fading.
Okay.
So at 26 just before 27, that's when I got in my last relationship, where I was just like, rah,
Okay.
let me come out. And in my head, around that age, remember I used to always talk about marriage talk, and
Yeah.
I thought I was gone. I
Yeah.
thought, yeah. I was like, rah, I'll be around the man then, but I was like in my head, I ain't gonna be like Gavin them, man. I'm gonna let them, man.
Gavin, what do you what? Wait, what do you mean?
Spin the camera.
No. Wait, hold
the
on, wait.
camera.
Let me sit here, because I don't know what's going on
Wait,
here.
spin the camera.
Hold
So
on a
I
minute.
was
What's,
like, rah,
what's going on here?
I'm not gonna be like these, man, and be toxic. But guess what? When I became single, I just picked up the dark saber.
I don't know what's going on
I
here.
became like him.
What I will say though is that your reputation precedes you, and you only learn that as you grow older, and all of the mishaps and all of the carnage you've left behind you doesn't always leave. That's why I say, if I could go back, that's one thing I would address, is the toxic behavior I had back then. However, you have to get out your system, and
Yeah,
I'll say
100%.
definitely within reason, sow your royal oaths within reason, because there's nothing worse than, you know, seeing guys who are 40, 45, 50 still doing the same things that the 25-year-olds are doing. So even going on boys' holidays, at the age I'm at now, I can't do it anymore.
But I said that to you in 2019,
That what?
after the last Dubai trip.
Yeah. I'm too old now.
I said it in the last Dubai trip when I went with the random. I said, right, I'm done.
I can't do this
And
anymore.
the funny thing is, yeah, the weirdest thing about that trip here was I was with the mandem, but I swear I spent more time hanging with the girls. So like by the beach, when the mandem went and pulled in, I'm just beachside, just chilling with the girls, just chatting and just talking life talks. Then I was talking to Yus about for like hours about relationship and that, and he was saying the same thing. And he was like, rah, I said to him, I'm proper done out. So it's like when I've seen everyone do Ghana and all this in recent, I'm like, you lot were saying that, right, you're not going on boys' holiday, but you lot are still gone.
Yeah.
But since the time I said it, I've not been on none.
Yeah. I say get that all out your system now.
Yeah.
Definitely. If you're a young guy, get all out of your system now, but do it safe. And
You have to get out
sort
your
your
system.
credit out, very important. And cars are, in my opinion, unless you're using cars to make money,
It's a liability.
it's a liability. The amount of guys I know that bought 40k whips, 30k whips, crashed them, and have lost their money is endless. The amount of money you lose on cars during a lifetime, buy a yard. Like you can go to Kent right now and get a yard for maybe about what, 200 grand? You might do a 15k deposit, which is about 30 bags or whatever it is, plus minus. That's the best place to put your money in. Cars will come and go, and this will be real. Half of the time we're buying these cars, it's a stunt.
It's the stunt.
It's for everybody else. So all you younger guys, save your money.
2 miles
and
per
buy a
hour,
yard.
so
It's-
everybody
it's
sees
long.
you. 2 miles. After the rave, doing the Tour de France.
I've done it before. I've done laps around the club before. I've wasted money on cars. But I used to buy and sell cars. So that's a bit of a difference. But it's a waste of money. And if you can stay at home and you and your mum and dad get on, stay in the house as long as you can. Don't let society and media tell you got to move out and go and do a one-bed flat in the top of Canary Wharf to do Jay and gra.
You see the,
Don't
you
do
see,
it.
You see the pressure
Stay
about
at
the cars.
home.
You see the pressure about the cars though. I laugh because there's one of my close friends here, and she says, yeah, she won't get into certain cars. And I'm just like,
Girls have
brother,
seen my Kia and laughed at me.
yeah,
Listen,
yeah.
a woman has seen my electric hybrid car. It's half electric, half
And I
whatever.
was just like, right.
And they laugh. And I don't mind. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm just
I don't
like,
care
yeah,
about
it
whips
is what
right
it is.
now. There's more. I've got more to do than spend 40, 50k on a car just to impress someone, or to be spending £700 a month on a lease. And don't get me wrong. If you're leasing or financing a car, do you? But I'm talking to the younger lot right now. All of this image, drip, all of that right now. I'm not your accountant or your financial advisor, but growing up and doing it, it's all a waste of money. The amount of clothes that I've bought, that I've scratched and ripped, I spent £800 on t-shirts growing up. Put it this way, the whole Christian or DJ, Ed Hardy phase, I did it all. I wasted 4 or 5 bills, and all of this stuff, it's all in the bin. I've got Givenchy, and again, it's good to do it, but I'm saying there's more to it right now. Any bit of money you're making right now, invest it. Invest it. Women will come and go. All the enjoyment will come and go. And I've done it, and growing up now, I'd say, sort your credit out once again, okay? When it comes to women, be very, very responsible. And know that all the carnage you're creating as a backlog may come to bite you later on in life, okay? If you can stay at home as long as you can. Save money and contribute to the household. You know, sometimes we stay at home and we're like, and I'm not against parents asking for a contribution. I'm not against it. But the issue I have with parents sometimes is when, if you're at uni or you're trying to study or make something of your life, you can't be collecting 50% of your child's salary. It's disrespectful and it's rude. And children, young adults, especially if your mum or dad have got this council house because of you, report them to Croydon Council. Do not let your parents or your mum or dad try and collect big money from you, and they've got this council house because of you. Don't let them do that to you. Respect yourselves and respect them. Let them know that you report them to Croydon Council. Sadiq Khan is available via email. Let them know. All jokes aside though, you got to contribute something to the household, but it's really wrong when parents are asking you for £500-600 a month and you're only earning 1,000, only to now be telling you when you can and can't come out of the house. There needs to be a balance. And there needs to be a conversation of this toxic relationship we have with parents, because you can't be demanding 50% of my salary and be giving me rules. I will not pick that remote control up.
Let's be honest here, most people...
Do not call me to get that remote control. Do not ask me to cook and clean in the house if I'm paying 5 bills. Do not do it. And that's the biggest problem we have, is we don't discuss the toxic relationship parents have with their children.
Yeah, they treat you like you're a housemate. You know, they make you pay bills like you're a housemate, but they treat you like you're a kid.
Yep. It don't make sense.
It don't make no sense, and it's rude. But most times you find out most men kind of leave home because you want that freedom. You want that flexibility of if you want to come in at 2. If you wait, big girl. Yeah.
That's reality of it.
Wait, that's probably reason 1 in most men. Let's be honest. Let's be
Bring
honest.
girls to the house.
Yeah, that's probably reason 1. But it's a thing that the freedom of where, like you said, it got to a point here when I was home, I was thinking to myself, I'm a big man and you're asking me where you going to, like.
Yep.
Like,
and that's the big problem, is it's trying to
I
find
felt
that balance.
violated.
But it's that balance between being a parent and looking at your son or daughter who's an adult, maybe making the mistakes that you might have made. But there needs to be a balance. And one of the young boys I'm speaking to now, he's paying £300 a month, which is about just over a quarter of his salary. And I said to him, listen, he wants to move out right now. Yeah. And he said he wants to go and get a studio flat for £900. I said, bro.
Struggle.
Mate, you're on £1,200-1,300 a month. Where do you want to spend this money? You're going to have £300 to your name. And the issue I say is that, and this is not a golden rule, I always say that if more than 50% of your salary is going on your rent, there's a problem. It's not a life rule. I just say that you shouldn't be spending more than 50% of your salary on your rent. Meaning if you're earning 2.5, you shouldn't be spending more than £1,250 on your rent. That's just my own golden rule, I would say, for anyone growing up. So if you're earning £1,200 a month, just go and rent a room for 6 bills if need be. But as I said to this younger guy, his issue is that he wants to be bringing girls around. And I said, this clearly means that the girl you're talking to doesn't have her own place. So I would say, bro, if this is the case, stay at your mum's. And if you need to go and book a hotel to go and do grab for me, for you, go and book a hotel and do
for me, for you.
Simple as that. Go and spend that extra little £50. Book a little young travel lodge. Yeah. You get me? It might not have room service, but book a little travel lodge or a little Premier Inn. Or if you want, book the Best Western. They're not too bad. That's if you want to do for me, for you. But don't go and start moving out and spending £1,200 because of women. Brother, when you move out your mum's house, you're gonna realise what this real life is. When you've got to juggle fixing your boiler or fixing your engine. Should I be cold? Should I be cold in the house and be able to drive from A to B? Or should I be able to drive from A to B and have to use electric heater? This is real life problems that people don't realise. And that's what I would say if growing up. These are the things I would say. What would you say, the 3 golden things you would say, or mistakes you may have made? Even though they're not mistakes because they made you. Yeah. But at this moment now, do you own a yard?
Nope.
Now, would you say that you've had some money at some point to have been able to have done it?
Facts.
And this is the thing, is that we're like paying off people's mortgages. There's nothing wrong with that, because everything has a time. Yeah. And there are positives in renting, because when you're renting, you've got the freedom to get up and move. So I've got some friends who have money who rent, and they say, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing right now, so I don't want to get a mortgage and be tied down. So I'd rather rent so that I can move left and move right. But my mate, who's got 5 properties now, we both were selling cars growing up. Both had the same money. He now has 5 properties, I don't. And the difference between me and him was our credit. When I wanted to get a mortgage back then, I couldn't get one because my credit was bad. He bought a property in Fulton Heath, and he sold it and made 80k off it after 3 years. And those are the kind of gains that you can get from it. And I'd say, definitely sort your credit out, okay? And if you can get a property, get one. Stay at home as long as you can. As long as you can. Because this real life out here, my guy, you see this edge here? It's different to this edge here. It's not easy.